What's up guys, Armada here, and in today's video we are gonna talk about my losers run at EVO. I know we had a video with me talking about my loss to Swedish Delight, but I felt like that deserved its own video. So in this one we're gonna talk about my loser bracket, so after I lost to Swedish Delight. And that was a rough one. First time in a while I find myself in losers so that early. And I remember after I lost to Swedish Delight, because I saw King, he lost to Smash God not too long before I lost to Swedish. And as I walk off the stage, I'm like, will I have to play King really early? And I asked like one of the pool captains, and he's like, yeah, if you beat Gatsu, you have King. I was like, I knew it. But at that point, like, you just have to accept the fact, right? Nothing I can do, brackets won't change. Playing King for 13th, if I beat Gatsu, that's the reality I'm living in. But to start off my set with Gatsu, was a little bit shaky play from both, I would say. I have a kind of strong start, getting some solid combos and edge guards. Gatsu having some weird SD, I think, at least in game 2, but I think in game 1 as well. But he's like slowly but surely climbing his way back, and me not being the most confident I've been, starts to play more and more shaky, DIN on combos, you know, some fucking 06 DI. But I closed the first match out, relatively close, but still some margin. And game 2 starts off with Gatsu taking an SD right away, pretty much. And after that, he could not really bring it back again. He pushed it like a bit closer, but I feel like that set was not too much to talk about. It was a pretty bad set overall. Hopefully we get to play more in the future. And yeah, then after Gatsu, I had to play King for 13th. Pretty crazy. I actually always had this thought in my head that when I do get upsetted by a non-top 6, I will run into a top 6 members really early in losers. I don't know. It's just like, a thought I've had in my head for quite a few years actually. And yeah, I got ready to warm up for King. I played with Smash God. Smash God being notorious for being good in the Peach matchup. Odd is his brother. And he also did beat King like just a few hours or something prior. So perfect warm-up partner. Also played a bit shaky in the friendlies at first. But it got better and better. But then when I played King, I get like pretty destroyed game 1. Finding myself in a really rough position, down 1-0, and it's a best of 3, and I have no Dreamland counter pick. So yeah, no, that's a rough one for sure. And I remember being down 2-1 in stocks on Yoshi's, and it's one of these times where I've been the closest to giving up in a match ever. It just felt like this is not my day. Like, I started having these negative thoughts, like, I can't do this. Or just thinking overall. I don't really like to think too much when I play because I feel like positive and negative thoughts can distract you. Like, you can get way too overconfident if you think too positive. You can get way too scared or demotivated if you think too negative. So, it was getting to me for a while. But then I remember going down to my final stock. And I just have like a short moment where it just feels like I'm getting all this energy. I'm not entirely sure how to explain it, but it just felt like the people out there that wants me to do well, it was like they were sending their energy. And I know that might sound weird or like bullshit or whatever, but that's how it felt for me. And then I was like, I owe it not only to myself to try my hardest, but I also owe it to all the people out there that actually wants me to do well, that do follow me, that do support me in good times, in bad times. So for that final stock, I decided that, I'll try it, I'll try it my all. And if it goes bad, it goes bad. If it goes well, it goes well. And then I played fantastic that last stock, and I clutched it out. And after that, in competitions, if something goes your way, it's momentum normally comes your way. So for game 3, I felt more and more confident, and overall, I think I played a bit better than Mewtwo King. I did get a Stitch Face as well. Thank you, RNG gods. But no, overall, I think I outplayed him from the end of game 2 and to the rest of the set pretty much. So that was a huge relief. Huge relief because Mewtwo King, especially this year, have really pushed me. He beat me twice at Summit, and then I know SmashCon was after EVO, but he still took a set from me at SmashCon as well. So me and Mewtwo King have had like a really even rivalry this year, more so than any other year prior. So scary opponent for sure. But despite beating Mewtwo King, I'm still not qualified for top 8. I have to play another Marth, which honestly wasn't too bad of a timing since I played Mewtwo King prior. So I was already pretty warmed up for Marth. I had to play Sane losing to H-Box, if I recall correctly, in Winners. And the thing though is that Mewtwo King is saying they do play very, very differently. So even though I did have the Marth warm-up, it's certain things that they do differently. I'm not gonna go into detail too much about that. It's their homework, not my homework. But like one major thing everyone already knows about is Sane's pivot tippers. So DI his F-row incorrectly is like, you're dead. So that's one of these things where Mewtwo King might not capitalize the strongest at all times, but Sane will. But overall, that set was also very close. Game 1 I win pretty convincingly, but game 2 he does, and then game 3 is like back and forth at all times. But I managed to clutch it out, and that was just also like a huge relief. I felt pretty awful at day 2, like all the stress, all the pressure, really exhausted. It was like, I was just really happy that the day was over, so I could like, you know, just not focus and think too much about my next matches. Just like a moment of stress-free environment. So I was really, really happy with that. Like day 2 felt more after I lost to Swedish, like just survive day 2. Just survive, and tomorrow is a new day. Which I managed to do, so it was good. And then day 3, I remember I woke up, and despite only getting 6 hours of sleep, I remember feeling much more refreshed. I didn't feel, you know, as tired, as exhausted. I felt it in me that I have a run today. Like, at least I have the potential to do a run today. And despite having some more close sets, as you all probably know at this point, the loser bracket at top 8 went pretty well as well. Played S2J. S2J, a very scary opponent for me. He was up 2-0 at Genesis 4, as some of you guys might remember. And all the top Falcons play very differently. Really differently actually. I guess like you can have like Wisrom on one end, None on one end, and then S2J kinda in the middle. But it's still like incredibly hard to play against all of them. So yeah, I got some Falcon warm-up in the morning. Quite a lot actually, so feel pretty good about that as well. And then game 1 and 2 kind of like convincing wins each for me and S2J. And in game 3 he's up, but I pulled the comeback again. So it's like this EVO loser run, it felt like a lot of times I was on the verge of losing, but I somehow made it back. I guess sometimes that's like a top player privilege thing, where if you do play bad, some people might not understand when you're playing bad. Not necessarily in my set against S2J, because I think I played pretty good. But in some sets when top players do play bad, players right underneath that level, they might not understand like that this is a time to go in, for example. So that's a privilege for sure that top players do get away with sometimes. And then also, just like the higher ranked players have normally been in more of these situations. Probably a little bit nerves on average. So I managed to close it out against S2J. So that was you know, feeling good, taking a win, the first set of the day. And after that, I have to play Mango, which means that one of us are going back home in 5th place. And I played Mango the night prior at the Twin Galaxy exhibition matches. So we did get some matches only like half a day earlier in Peach Falco. And I did study up on the matches from low tier city, and I felt pretty confident. I know I lost at Summit, but I don't mind fighting Falco. I think Falco Peach is a fairly even matchup. I know some people will disagree with me. I'd probably give Falco a slight edge. But I did have some notes prepared for sure, and I think some of it paid off for sure. And it was also not Mango's best day by any means. So then it's always easier to get openings, easier to get momentum. But I think I played very, very solid in that set. And also one thing I will point out as well, at the Twin Galaxy exhibition thing, they had headsets, and I wasn't like, I'm not really using headset ever, but since it was only an exhibition, I was like, alright, I can use them because there was no sound on the TV. They probably could fix it, but I was like, I always use the headsets, and I liked it. So that's why I played with it in EVO Top 8, and I felt like it actually helped me focus much more. So at SmashCon and in future tournaments, I'll try to use it as much as possible. So yeah, no, that was really good for me. And then after that, I had to play HBox. HBox, who beat me the weekend prior at low tier city in a pretty close game 5. I almost made a reverse 3-0, but he beat me last stock in game 5. Totally deserving of that set. I think he played quite a bit better than me overall. So even going to game 5 was almost like, I'm not even sure if I deserved that, but that's sometimes how it is in competitions. But yeah, game 1, HBox kind of wrecked, like he kind of destroys me, to be honest. And I noticed that some of the things I have been thinking about and trying to plan for and prepare, I noticed that I'm doing the opposite of this in game 1. I'm like thinking to myself between stocks, I'm like, why am I doing this? I literally told myself, do this, this, and this, and then I don't do a single one of these things. So I'm like, alright, that's bad. But like in game 2 and game 3, then I focused like extra on like putting focus on the things I personally think will give me the edge in the matches. And it was like, again, like barely scrapping by, beating him game 2. And then in game 3, it's just like destruction. And that win felt really good because everyone is talking about the EVO storyline, and I knew beating Mango and HBox that the only one that can pull off in EVO, like pull in EVO now, is me, since Mango is out, and HBox can't catch up to Tuvo. So I knew that I'm the only one that can like pull it off now. So that was also like a relief in a sense. And then after HBox, I had to play Plup, and Android did help me out quite a bit with that. He helped me to go over some games, and also helped me warming up. And I felt pretty good about sets. At the time we played, I did not notice about Plup's panic attack. I felt very bad about that, hearing about it afterwards. I was just so in the zone, and I think it was sitting slightly closer to the TV as well, so I did not notice it at all. But I heard he's doing better now, so I'm happy to hear that at least. And I'm not sure, maybe I'm wrong, but at least personally I can relate to the EVO stress compared to other majors, where 2 out of 3, for me at least, stresses me out more. I'm not sure if that was the case for Plup or not, but the most important thing is that he's feeling better. But yeah, he can play much better than he did in our set for sure. Looking back at the VODs afterwards, yeah, you can see that he's feeling awful. If anything, it's impressive that he managed to even, play against me in Leffen, feeling like that. I'm not sure if you felt that way playing as Mango too, because that set I have not rewatched. But still. And then, yeah, in Grand Finals, I have to play against Leffen, and is actually the only matchup I did not get to warm up for top 8, because I was kind of like going into the top 8, I had to like think about the chance of playing each player. Like I knew for a fact that I will fight S to J, so I warmed up a lot against Falcon, and then I know if I win that, I will play the loser of Plop and Mango. So then it was like Falco and Sheik are like the next most likely characters for me to fight against. And I had a gut feeling that Leffen was gonna beat Hbox and whoever won between Plop and Mango. So I decided to not focus on the Fox Zero and like hoping that my momentum, if I make it to Grands, through losers would be so strong that I would still be able to like play incredibly on point in the Ditto. Sadly, that did not really happen, but I also feel like Leffen played incredibly fucking good. So even if I played good, it was one of these days where it was just like so good. So in order to beat that, you have to play at your absolutely best as well, which I sadly could not do that day. But I'm happy for Leffen. He has had a struggle at EVO in the past, multiple 9th places. It's kind of been like his tournament where he underperforms, like every time pretty much. So as a fellow Swede, I'm proud of him, happy for him that he won, even though of course I wanted to win myself. If I didn't, I'm pretty happy that he did. And the way he played, he 100% deserved it, and really strong of him to come back after that game 1 he lost to Hbox, to just like, you know, everything clicked after that. But yeah, EVO was, overall, it was quite a ride. One of the weirdest tournaments for me I've ever entered, but with the way things almost ended at day 2, I can't complain with second place. I never ever settle, or I'm never satisfied with second, but the way things looked at day 2, I can't complain. And I hope all the people out there supporting me also could see how much I was fighting, not only for myself, but also for you guys. So thank you all for all the support. I super appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys at the next tournament and in the next video. Take care, everyone. Peace.